Chelsea news. Hello, welcome my friends, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I'm not wearing my glasses today, so you don't have to endure the reflection from the ring light. So know that not only am I blind when talking to you in this video, but also you can see how tired I am with my bags. So that sucks for me. Anyway, welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I talk about Chelsea news, giving you the lowdown on what's being said about the beautiful Blues. And of course, there's lots going down at the moment because there's a new gaffer and Chelsea are in poor form on the table. Marry those two, lots of stuff to talk about regarding Chelsea. But today I'm going to be talking about Thomas Tuchel's Timo talk. Tuchel's come out and made comments on Timo Werner about his poor form in the Premier League, how he plans to use him, and of course that's interesting and very important in the case of this Chelsea team because Timo Werner is a gunman. He scores goals all his career, that's what he's used to, and he hasn't been at Chelsea, so be interesting to hear what the new gaffer has to say about that. Also, new contracts for two players. Thiago Silva, not so surprising, but maybe if they were looking at a new centre-back in the summer. And also Jorginho, which is a little bit more concerning out there to perhaps the fans that aren't overly excited by the Brazilian Italian. Anyway, settle in, get comfortable, subscribe if you're new. I think we're like touching distance from 110,000 subscribers. Beautiful scenes. You could be a contributor to that landmark for me by subscribing and hitting that all-important bell notifications. And if you want to show your love to your boy, please do drop a like on the video. Alright then, enough of that. Let's get into today's content. You know what? I'm going to save Timo Werner for the end because it was interesting to hear what the gaffer said, how he wants to deploy him and how he wants to deal with him. So let's talk about these new player contracts as the first story today. Yeah, so when a new manager does come in, often the first call of business is sorting out contract, getting players out the door, finding out who's who, settling the squad, gaining an idea. The two players being mentioned about contract extensions are Thiago Silva and Jorginho. Let's start with Thiago Silva. Now, this is no surprise. We signed him on a 1+1 deal, Thiago Silva. It wouldn't surprise you to know that Frank Lampard probably would have extended it another year, but Thomas Tuchel certainly would as well. In fact, there's rumours that there might even be a 2-year extension, which would be pretty darn incredible because that would see him all the way up to like 39 maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but for a Chelsea football club who generally get offended by a player if they're over 30 years old, usually up until this point, to change their tune, it's pretty incredible. Although Thiago Silva is a physical specimen, he looks after himself so well, doing yoga, all kinds of modern age health stuff to keep his body like a temple. Of course, he's very sharp in the mind. He's always doing like tactical research between games at home with his family. A model professional, and of course, if Tuchel could keep him there for the entire time he's there, he'd probably like that because obviously Thiago Silva knows his methods inside out and backwards. It's a common misconception that Thomas Tuchel sold, or rather released, let go Thiago Silva and didn't want him at PSG, obviously when he came to Chelsea at the beginning of the season, but that's just simply not true. We all know Thomas Tuchel fell out with the sporting director Leonardo, and he's the one who didn't want to sign Thiago Silva up to a new deal and switch things around. Thomas Tuchel wanted to keep him, Leonardo didn't, and this was one of the many reasons why their relationship broke down, and eventually Thomas Tuchel got sacked from PSG. So, pleasing to know that he does like Thiago Silva and will re-sign him to a new deal, and hopefully we use him, and even if he plays less and less, he'll be a positive figure around the defence and dressing room. So let's roll on and talk about the slightly more controversial one at least, Jorginho. Now, as things stand, Jorginho's contract runs out at the end of next season, so off the bat, it's important to note that this contract extension might be more protecting his value as an asset. Although he's not that young, Jorginho. He's 29? Let me check on my phone. Yeah, he's 29. So if we saw, he'll be comfortably into his 30s by the time a new contract deal runs out. Interestingly, I don't think it's just protecting an asset. Jorginho is the type of player that Thomas Tuchel likes. In fact, he tried to purchase him for PSG when he was there recently. PSG made inquiries. They wanted to buy Jorginho from Chelsea. Whether Chelsea didn't sell him due to not having a replacement or what, I'm not so sure, but they came in for him. Thomas Tuchel likes him, and although I, like many Chelsea fans, are not overly convinced by Jorginho, perhaps in this team, I think he's a very good metronomic regista playing for Maurizio Sarri, and he had great success with him. He's a good professional, he tries hard, he's good for the vibes, but in terms of this functional midfield in the Premier League with a slightly different style, I'm not so sure. If Tuchel plays football closer to Sarri ball, like it looked a little bit against Wolves, a lot of possession, moving lateral balls and stuff. If there is a bit more of that, then maybe he sees value in him, but I think he'll probably be that married with protecting the value of Jorginho. Who knows, maybe we'll try and sell him, but I'm a little bit concerned in the fact how he wanted him at PSG and now he's here at Chelsea. There's a rumour of a contract extension. A little bit worried, especially when we have the likes of Billy Gilmour, who I am a super fan of and would really like to see him starting in this midfield in that kind of Jorginho role. I just think he offers a little bit more in this league. Hey, my opinion, boys and girls. It's just my opinion. But anyway, let's move on and talk about the other story today regarding Timo Werner. The interview originally published on the Chelsea site and spoke of on the Sky Sports article I'll be citing today. Thomas Tuchel knows he needs to get the best out of Timo Werner. Thomas needs to get the best out of Timo, and I think at the moment we can all agree Timo Werner is looking pretty darn crushed. I need to remind you that when we signed Timo Werner, he was one of the hottest properties in Europe in terms of scoring goals, and he's hit such a dismal slump of form, and Tuchel knows that it was his job to get the best out of him. I think Havertz will be okay. Havertz doesn't look that low on confidence. Sure, he's not scoring and assisting much, but in terms of how he plays on the pitch, his head doesn't seem down like Werner, so I think that's more of a psychological issue to deal with Werner. Anyway, I'm going to cite some of the articles from Sky Sports today and give you some context about this story. Thomas Tuchel insists it is his job to turn Timo Werner's form around this season, believing his fellow German is carrying, quote, weight on his shoulders. Werner joined from RB Leipzig for an initial £45 million in the summer and enjoyed a purple patch in front of goal in October, as he appeared to have adjusted to the life in the Premier League. However, the 24-year-old is without a league goal since early November, with his form taking a severe downturn. Nonetheless, Tuchel spoke in depth about his plans for the fellow countryman during his unveiling press conference, highlighting the need for Werner to rediscover his smile. So off the bat, everyone knows, it's no big secret, he started well, he's been poor, but the fact that he started well, Timo Werner, is an indication that he can play well. I think it was Southampton, the 2 goals he scored, both excellent goals, showed you like a great deal of confidence. Of course, the goal he also scored against Tottenham in the Cup, that turn and low drive, we've seen him do it against decent, Premier League opposition. It just seems to all be up here, and that's what Thomas Tuchel has to deal with. The article goes on to cite Thomas. Quote, Timo prefers to have space, Tuchel said. He is super fast, likes to play very high up on the last line, a little bit more to the left to receive the ball in the open space. Can we develop moments and patterns and behaviours to see his quality in narrow spaces? I am absolutely convinced, and that is my job. So off the bat he's saying, look, inside left channel, running into space. We kind of knew that so far, but let's read on. The guy is young, the guy is open, the guy is friendly, and the guy is eager to learn. At the moment, I can see his face is a bit closed, I can see the weight is on his shoulders, he cares a lot, and he shows that he is a fantastic character. Profound really, man. The weight is on his shoulders. A young guy in a new country, that's the thing, that's the mentality he needs to break out of. Once he believes he can do it in this league fully, hopefully you won't see a return to this slump. Apparently he is a bit of a streaky striker in terms of form, but not like this. Anyway, let's read the last bit of the article. Sometimes as a striker, it does not help if you care a lot. It's better as a striker to not care at all, but that's not this guy. He is not happy with himself and the way things have gone lately. It is important to rebuild the trust in himself and to re-find a smile on his face to stop doubting himself so much. It is my job to help him with this and to help him find the position where we can use his strengths. I think that's quite interesting. I really like some stuff that Thomas Tuchel says. It's a man of experience in coaching. A lot of the stuff he comes out with, like saying it's better if you don't care as a striker. Now this is going to sound awful because he was so good for us, but Diego Costa, I think Diego Costa loved the fans at Chelsea and loved how they sung his name, and I think he had a good relationship with the fans. But like a lot of Brazilians, they sort of come from, these Brazilians that come from the favelas, they get into football, they just want to make money. and perhaps it's less about the badge. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's not a criticism. You saw it with Oscar, who came to Chelsea, went to China for the money quite young. Similar with Diego Costa. Diego Costa was so good for Chelsea, but he didn't really care that much, and that's what made him so great. He cared about himself, like just scoring goals and winding up the opponents and, you know, doing well and having a successful career. I think Timo Werner cares about like the pressure, the sort of headlines, the club, the badge, the sort of weight, and that stuff probably weighs him down. So it's interesting to hear Thomas Tuchel talk about that, saying something that's better if you don't care. Yeah, I don't mean any offence by sort of making that probably relatively unfair generalisation. I'm just trying to make a point. Hopefully you got that. And yeah, other than that, he's making the right kind of noises, saying, look man, it's my responsibility and job to change his psychology around and to make him score again. That's good that he's taking the responsibility. That's step one for Thomas Tuchel. He's like, no, the responsibility is no longer yours. It's mine. So you don't worry about that. You know, if you're not scoring, it's my responsibility. And hopefully that alone is like step one, part one, to alleviate the pressure off Timo Werner's shoulders. And I think that could be a good positive sign. So we'll have to see what happens. There's another game tomorrow at time of recording. I'm recording on Saturday. Really looking forward to seeing that, whether Timo Werner starts or not, and generally how he plays them in the future. You'd imagine Barnsley at some point would be a really good opportunity for him to just get him in the right spaces and score loads of goals. Anyway, what do you guys think? Get down into the comment section below and express your thoughts, feelings and opinions. I'll be very keen to read those in the comment section, so please do leave a comment. Consider liking the video if you've enjoyed the content. Of course, sub if you're new. So close to 110k. Thank you very much, my friends. Enjoy the football, and I will see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.